Happy National Baseball Card Day 2021. Ahead, we unleash the wonder dog, Rex Hudler, get artsy with Keith Shore, and go deep into our favorite hobby with the man known as D-Row. That and much more next on MLB's Carded.
It goes, it is caught! Holy cow! Unbelievable!
Welcome back to another episode of MLB's Carded, and boy, do we have something to celebrate. That's right, this year National Baseball Card Day is August 7th. So what does this annual celebration of cardboard and wax entail? Well, we caught up with Emily Kless from Topps at Play Ball Park during All-Star Week in Denver to find out.
National Baseball Card Day is a celebration of collecting baseball cards. We have so many fun events going on around the entire country. There's hobby stores where you can walk into your local card shop and just get a free pack of cards to celebrate National Baseball Card Day. Topps National Baseball Card Day started because we wanted to spread the love of card collecting. We also wanted to support local card shops. They are really at the heart of what we do. From coast to coast, there are so many great card shops that carry Topps products, that interact with our fans, with our collectors day in and day out, and they're really at the heart of the hobby. So we wanted to find a way to celebrate with them and also support them and encourage fans to go visit their local card shop. So it started a few years back, and we've gotten bigger and bigger every year, which has been very exciting, and we can't wait for this year. We really bridge the connection between fans and their favorite players, their favorite teams. Topps is there to bridge that connection when you otherwise might not be able to be at the ballpark. You can always take out your baseball card collection and be able to see full color pictures of your favorite players, your favorite teams, favorite action shots at the stadium. It's just such a great way to commemorate the game, but also celebrate baseball cards. And of course, we love to see what all our fans are posting on social media. So if you use the hashtag ToppsNBCD, you can join the conversation online on social media at Topps so we can see what you poll and celebrate the entire day.
It's like Christmas in August for baseball card collectors like me, and we look forward to making it even bigger next year. Each year All-Star Week has so much to offer for collectors. Play Ball Park always features legendary ball players and really gives fans a chance to meet their favorites. But this year, the All-Star festivities got an extra special visitor. Watch this.
When the All-Star game came to Denver, the Rockies reached out, wanted a world-class baseball exhibition for All-Star Week. We were able to put it together with the help of Marshall Fogel, who has one of the great collections outside of the Hall of Fame that you're going to find anywhere in the world.
We're going to be unveiling his 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle PSA 10 Gem Mint card today. It is absolutely the finest example known. It was from the inaugural 1952 issue from Topps, and it's the zenith. It really is. There's no other question.
If we were to have a Da Vinci or a Picasso here, we would treat it the same way. The best way to think about this card is as a piece of artwork. It's got this wonderful pop art quality to it. The colors are brilliant, the turquoise background, the heroic pose that Mickey is in with the bat over his shoulder and sort of looking off into the distance.
Absolutely perfectly centered, tremendous color, surface. This is really the focal point of his collection.
It is the masterpiece when it comes to baseball cards. It just has a magical quality. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience to see it with your own eyes. You don't get a lot of chances to see something like this, and so I just feel very privileged to be able to share that with people.
It's incredible to think that Mickey Mantle's rookie card is worth more than he made in his entire Major League career. Up next, I talk card collecting with my buddy Mark DeRosa and find out a little bit more about how baseball cards helped shape his love of the game as he went from the ball fields of Jersey all the way to the big leagues.
Bases loaded for Mark DeRosa. Grand slam! His fourth career granny. What a couple of days DeRosa's had. Mark DeRosa, no doubt about it, laser to the porch. Mark DeRosa crunches one to left field. Hello, Mark DeRosa.
Mark DeRosa and I have a few things in common. Sure, only one of us played in the bigs for over a decade, but we share a workplace and we also share a passion for baseball cards. Mark DeRosa joins us now on Carded to tell us more. D-Ro, how you doing, man?
Zinger, I am doing amazing, and yes, we do share a lot of things in common.
So your office is not decked out in baseball cards like mine, but I do want to tap in to your passion for this industry. So let's begin here. What drew you to baseball cards as a kid?
You know what's funny, Zinger? Growing up in Carlstadt, New Jersey, which is right in the shadows of MetLife Stadium now, the old Giants Stadium, there used to be a bunch of hotels on that kind of Route 17 route right to Giants Stadium. And there used to be baseball card shows there in the lobbies of those hotels, in the boardrooms of those hotels all the time, every weekend. So it was nothing for me and my buddies to get on our bikes and go down to a Sheraton downtown and buy a Don Mattingly card or whoever the hot guy was at the time. I remember Kevin Moss came up with the Yankees and was just hitting all these jacks, and I jumped on all his cards. But seriously, just going to those card shows kind of like lit my fire on it.
And it's funny, you mentioned Don Mattingly. I think this next question kind of defines what kind of fan you were growing up in baseball. So for me, when I got a brand new pack, my favorite players, I wanted Ozzie Smith, I wanted Willie McGee, I also wanted Mark Grace, I wanted Will Clark because I was a tall lefty first baseman. I felt like I played like them. Who were your go-to guys, the ones that you had to get their cards when you opened a new pack?
Yeah, I mean, I was a Yankee fan growing up, so I always, Don Mattingly, Donnie Baseball was my guy. And I wasn't a green fly in the big leagues. I never was a guy who went around, asked guys to sign jerseys or sign baseballs for a collection. But Don Mattingly, the year I knew I was going to hang it up, I politely walked behind the cage during batting practice. I said, Donnie, I've been in the league for over 15 years. I've never kind of done this, but you were my dude. Like, can I get a picture with you before I hang him up? And he's like, no doubt. He signed it, everything that goes along with it. So I would say he was my number one. But then it was like Tony Gwynn was huge for me. Ryan Sandberg. You talk about guys that you wanted to emulate, Cal Ripken. But there was a bunch of guys. I rode the hot hand, too. I got to be honest.
It's okay. That's the way it works. That's the way when you're a kid, we're excitable men now. But that's kind of because we loved the game when we were kids. So take me back, and you described things so eloquently. What was it like for a young Mark DeRosa opening up a brand new pack when you were a kid?
It was basically like this. Common. Oh my, we get a good one right here. That's going in the binder. That's going in the plastic binder.
So you were a plastic sleeve binder guy to keep the good condition, right?
Absolutely. And I had in big, huge Sharpie, like who was in there, like Tony Gwynn, Andre Dawson, Sandberg, Wade Boggs. Next binder was someone else. And then that's how a little OCD too. I still got it to this day. Big time. I'm
very much OCD. My baseball cards have to be organized properly. I'm very into that. So I gotta see this, as you progressed, right? And you're playing in new teams, whether it be high school or college, you went to Penn, or even in the pros. Were baseball cards something you chatted about with your teammates? Did you bond over it? Was it something like you didn't want to talk about it too much?
We didn't talk about it much, but it was one of the first things I thought of when I got drafted. I'm like, "Ooh, I'm gonna get a card. I'm gonna get a minor league card at least. Well, let's hope that we get a big league card." But I knew I was gonna get a baseball card.
So give me the moment the first card of you came out. How did you react to it? How did your family and friends react to it?
It was a Fleer.
Okay.
It wasn't a great shot of me. I'm like to the side like this. And I got my tongue sticking out like I'm stretching. I'm like, oh, they don't think I'm going to hang in there long. So they didn't give me a great one. But no, I remember it like it was yesterday. That was big. That was a big moment.
What about the
Because you
big
see some of
league
your
card?
buddies. When you break in. Well, my first card in the minor leagues, 1996 Eugene Emeralds. Profile shot, mock neck like Chipper Jones. Ready to be share the left side of the infield with him in what I thought was going to be about 6 months. Little did I know it was going to take me 4 years to break through.
Now, but you found your stride. You did find your stride. Did you ever think that about some kid opening a pack in the early 2000s, like you did when you were younger, and getting a Mark DeRosa card, like from a kid's perspective, like, yeah, how you saw it, but did you ever imagine that there are kids going, oh, I got a D-Row card, a Mark DeRosa card?
The one card I do remember that I thought was really cool that I thought a kid would get and be like, oh, all right, I'm going to hang on to this one. There was 3 of us. It was myself, Michael Kadire, and Jerry Hairston Jr. We were all on the same card as rookies, like top rookies.
I remember this card. This card.
And I probably signed that card the most. And it would always be I'd always loved when it had Hairston and Kadire already signed on it, and I knew I was completing the card for the kid.
That's cool, man.
So that was a cool moment for me.
Now, would that be your favorite Mark DeRosa card? I want your favorite D-Row card and your least favorite D-Row baseball card.
Oh man, a card that I like to go off script a little bit. A card that probably very few people have is I had a Caracas Leones card for playing in the Venezuelan Winter League that I very rarely saw. I have a bunch at home that I just love that card. It was just a cool experience for me in 1999 to go play over there, and it was different. My favorite card, well, I would have to say is probably the Fleer card. My first one ever.
Wow. Okay.
And then I'd back that up. I was big into what the shot was, right? There was a card of me in Wrigley with the Cubs. I thought I looked good in that card, so that one was good. There was one in Texas where I'm making a catch in the outfield that I thought looked good. I had good Oakleys going. I looked like I knew what I was doing. The worst card was Toronto, my last year.
What was wrong with that card?
Okay, you're going to remember this card if you collect. Me and Anthony Gose. Anthony Gose is a left-handed reliever. He was an outfielder at that time. He's now since turned into a pitcher.
Right.
I always had a football because I played in college. So I always had a football in my locker, and I like to throw it on the field every once in a while. So we're in the Rogers Center, and Anthony Gose is like, throw me passes. So we were throwing each other passes, and my last card in the show is me catching a football, and it looks like I'm cross-eyed. I'm like, it's the worst card ever.
It's not that bad. I know exactly what you're talking about. That's not a terrible. I loved it because we all knew you played quarterback in college. Like if you're a collector and you know things about baseball players, I liked that was it kind of brought it all together, full circle for you.
All right, I'll take it. If you liked it, I'm okay with it. But I thought it was like, wow, one day. I had only brought that out one day. How could that Topps guy have been in the building that day?
All right, now last question. As you know, the industry's on fire. I mean, baseball cards are hot commodities. You have a son, a teenager, I believe. Are you getting him into the baseball card passion? Is he becoming a collector? Is it something he would be interested in?
I have showed him the baseball cards because I have a few in my safe. Man, I got a couple Griffey's. I got Mattingly's rookie. I got Wade Broggs' rookie. I got Tony Gwynn's rookie. Ricky Henderson's rookie.
Oh, you got some good ones.
There's a couple others that mean something to me. If my son right now, if you asked him, Dad, get me one card, it's Tatis.
My son's the same way.
I'm telling you right now, Greg, I played 15 years. My son is 11 years old. He'll be 12 in October, but he never really saw me play. So he doesn't really know except for YouTube, looking it up. And I've tried to get him into the game in big time, and he's always played, but now Tatis has put it on a whole nother level. I got to thank him when I see him, because the eye black goes on a Saturday. He's wearing a pink wristband.
Yep.
He's doing the stutter when he goes deep, coming around third. I mean, this guy has literally lit his soul on fire. So for me, it's been huge.
It's amazing. My son is also 11 years old. It's exactly the same thing. And his explanation to me was this. He's like, Dad, when I play the show, I can create a player, and you always laugh at me that there's no player that looks like this. Remember that years ago? I would create a 6'5" shortstop who had 80 grade speed, 80 grade arm, 80 grade power. He had unbelievable and crazy dreadlocks, and I had these awesome sunglasses on him. And that's Fernando Tatis Jr. I'm like, you're right.
He exists.
Yes, now he's existing.
No, he's changed the game for the younger kids. Shohei and Tatis have really, I've seen it with my own eyes being around my kids' travel team. Those are the two guys, obviously Acuna because we're in the Atlanta area, but those two guys have really, like, nationally have taken on a whole another life with the young generation.
And our friendship has taken on a whole new life. I did not know you were this passionate about baseball cards. So the next time you're in, bring in one of your binders and we'll trade some baseball cards. Okay, D-Rock?
You got it.
Mark, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Greg.
The Topps 2020 project was a stroke of genius, pairing contemporary artists with iconic baseball cards. The series was a huge success, thanks in large part to artist Keith Shore. Shore designed his version of the 1989 Ken Griffey Jr. card that became Project 2020's #1 seller. And now Shore is back with Topps Project 70 and his own dedicated set based on the 1989 Bowman collection.
I love when people say that they look at the work being at the cards or a painting and they just smile. I love color. I love big, bold shapes. I've always loved like little fine details and pencil work. So I've never been an artist to work on super large canvases or paint, I've always drawn really, really small and love those little details. So for me, a card is like the perfect medium for that. Project 2020, we were recreating what Topps considered their most iconic baseball cards over the years. And now with Project 70, I just did Alonso, I just did Freddie Freeman, I did Tatis, Bo Jackson. I was a huge collector of his cards when I was a kid, so that one's really special to me. Topps has done so many retro cards over the years and re-released old designs, and I noticed that one design that they've never played off again was the 89 Bowman. I always loved that set as a kid. It was such an oddball set. It broke all the rules. There was no player nameplate, no position, no team logos. I think most people from that generation of collecting would agree that the Griffey, that's the card from that set, the Griffey. So for me, I just thought, I love repetition. So it was just a matter of thinking of this 41 player set all lined up together. And I love that they were all the same pose, but also it's not a copy and paste thing. There's a lot of little details on each of these cards. So it was really fun for me to try to get 41 portraits to actually look like the players. It's such an amazing, part of your childhood, like this connection to the nostalgia, the time with, my dad collecting, and to be back in that world now. And I have kids and I'm collecting cards with them and they're watching me make these cards. It's incredibly special.
It's amazing to see what these card artists are doing with MLB's past grades and the current crop of players who have so much personality to try to capture on cardboard. Well, speaking of personality, few in MLB history have shown more of it than Rex Hudler. Anyone who's had the pleasure of listening to him on Kansas City Royals broadcast knows this, but so do baseball card aficionados like me. How did Rex showcase his unique side on cards during his playing days? Let's get the story from the Wonder Dog himself.
The bubblegum card guys, they hang out during the day at ballparks because the light, it's better light. It makes a lot of sense. And so my 1995 Topps Stadium Club card ended up being one of my favorites. It was a rare day. I happened to be in the lineup And so I remember one of the photographers, all I knew, he said, "Hey, can I take your picture, Mr. Hudler?" And I said, "Sure." The pole was right there, and I jumped on the pole because I was excited about the game and all fired up. And I just crossed my eyes and smiled. And my mom was the only one who didn't like it. She goes, "I taught you better to smile in front of a camera than that." And I said, "Mom, I didn't know that was the bubblegum card guy." "Yeah, you did." I said, "No, Mom, I just was getting ready to play a baseball game." Little did I know it was going to be one of the top 10 ugliest cards in baseball. So the 96 ends up being my next favorite card, because on the front of the card, it had me dropping the gate on Scott Brocious on a steal attempt, and I dropped my knee and he never got in there. You could tell the expression on his face that he was out. And I turned over the card, and there it was, me milking a cow in front of an Angel game. They always had dairy night at Angel Stadium. They would bring 2 cows out, and the opponent would always have a player, and then the Angels would have a player. And I was the guy because my great-grandfather taught me how to milk a cow when I was a little boy, and I would win every year. I would win for the team. And so some guy asked me to take my picture. I don't even remember looking over at him. I looked over at him, and of course, I had a big smile on my face because I'm milking a cow. I just really enjoyed every moment of every day, and I'm so happy that moment was caught on camera.
So baseball card collectors everywhere have Rex Hudler to thank for not one, but 2 unique cards. Before we go, I want to let you know about a new bracket challenge MLB is doing called Top of the Pack. What is it and how will it work? First, an expert panel and the 30 MLB clubs are going to narrow down every baseball card in history to a field of 32 cards, 1 per team and 2 wild cards. Then fans and discerning collectors like you will go through each matchup to determine which cards move on and which ones go back in the virtual shoebox. Voting will begin August 30th and will continue round by round until 1 card is left standing at the top of the pack, if you will. See how we did that? In addition to helping crown the victor, you can win great prizes just for participating. Details coming soon, so keep a lookout for that. Well, that wraps up another edition of MLB's Carded. Now here to take us out, it's Pack Rip time with Mark DeRosa.
All right, this is right up my alley. I'm gonna rip open a few packs. 2003 Topps. So let's dive in and see what we got here. So this is right when I was kind of breaking in. Got called up by the Braves in 1998, cup of coffee, 1 for 3 with a knock right out of the chute. Oh my, this is fate. Right out of the chute, we pull Vladimir Nunez. Vladimir Nunez was my first big league knock. Larry Boa, I mean, I could tell stories about all these guys. Larry Boa, now that I work at the network, I basically stole his office. Carlos Baerga, Brad Wilkerson, an old teammate with the Texas Rangers, University of Florida, alum Mark Quinn. Wilmington Blue Rocks, 1997 with Carlos Beltran. Greg Maddux, man, one guy who taught me so much about the game. Sitting on the bench, riding some pine with the Atlanta Braves when I first came up. God, did I pick this guy's brain. Little Frank Thomas, big hurt action. And this guy, I don't think this guy gets enough love for what he's done. You got guys like Edgar Martinez getting into the Hall of Fame. Lance Berkman, the big Puma, his numbers are right on par with Edgar out in Seattle. So that's an awesome pack right there.